Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 7 of the Spartan Training Ground Overpower podcast. I am Robert Wilson. With me, as usual, the champion, the prodigy himself, Andrew Taylor. Andrew, how you doing, man?
Sick as always. How about yourself?
We are almost D-Day here, or I guess M-Day, moving day here. Our
Yeah.
flight, we're less than 2 weeks out, and we are houses on the market, doing showings, and we are full speed ahead. There's a lot going on, but always have time for you, man. Always have time to talk some overpower and talk the
Hell
shit
yeah.
out. What about
Yeah,
you?
that's
What's new with
exciting.
you?
Nothing. Just waiting. I'd kind of like to teleport 3 months into the future so we have these Few and the Cursed and Skybound cards, honestly. But yeah, league's going good. We still do that every week. We've had 10 plus players pretty much every week. If everybody showed up at the same time, it would be like 24 or 26, something like that. But yeah, it's been good turnout. Lots of new players, themed stuff, which has been really cool. With like no Reaper and just for fun, trying to hit your weird cards. Last one was Camelot versus Barsoom, and so like one of the triggers is you play King Arthur's card, which I legit blocked out of my brain because it's so bad. It's got the thematic cool name, Knight of the Round Table or Knights of the Round Table, like that card, and pitch another card to reduce your opponent's ventured missions by 1. It's like, oh, I can't believe this card got printed. It's so bad. You see fun stuff like that, and like it's that's been a blast. So, but yeah, just very very excited for the new stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. You guys are getting such a big turnout for it. Like, it's always cool. Either you or your dad, someone posts pictures from the league and just how many people are showing up. I think that's awesome. Really happy it's working out there. I don't know. Maybe we can get something like that going in Columbus. We'll see. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean you guys
I
already
will
have a
just be
crazy good core.
slotting into whatever the Sims clan does. I mean, but yeah. So while we get started here, just kind of wanted to shout out, a few things coming up. Speaking of the Sims clan, you can check out Overpower Adventures on YouTube every Monday. The kind of water cooler, heart of the community podcast. Always a good time. Doug's great at interacting kind of with people on
With the
YouTube.
chat.
Try to check it out live if you can. I've only been able to check it out live once, but it's always a good time to be in there. If you're looking for more strategy-based things like us, you can check out the Overpower Mountain podcast with Marcel. His next episode will release Wednesday the 20th, so happy to have him back.
He actually has two in a row. He just announced one today.
Ooh.
Didn't yeah. So there's one this coming Wednesday, and then one the following Wednesday, the 20th. So back.
We are recording on Monday, May 11th, so you can check that out. 13th, it'll drop on
13th.
Wednesday, so that's dope. I'll check it out, and I know you will. I'm sure everyone else will too. Speaking of more you, if you want to see the champion himself battle, he will be taking on Dave the Rules McMillan next Sunday, what is that? The 17th, May 17th on Discord. So
Yep, it's on Discord. So people are asking for it to be recorded. I don't know how feasible that is. It's going to be like Discord is kind of funky with how that works and the back and forth. When he did it against Ricky, they wanted Joe to commentate. Kind of tricky because like when you play online, you have to be able to hear your opponent. Like people just want to hear the players table talk back and forth, and it's kind of hard to commentate and switch back and forth between two screens. If recording or commentating will happen, but I'm sure it'll be entertaining. It's kind of like I don't know, Anakin against Yoda, because he's kind of the trainer, and he helped me refine the Galactus deck way back in the day. And he's had this idea for a while to do like teams. He wants to do like overpowered teams and like have board based on like events they go to. And I don't know if it'll be draft or what. Like whenever we do teams, you're on my team. I've already pre-claimed you. I'm like, all right, Dave, sounds good, buddy.
Dave always brings something fun and something you kind of wouldn't expect, and he does well with it. And if you're kind of looking for some of that off the beaten path stuff, the non-Cadillac type decks of the world, like Dave is always someone to watch. And
Yep,
speaking of
something we
decks,
share.
a great place to check out, what's winning, pack opening videos, whatever. Check out Pierre. Pierre's putting together some great content. Some of that we'll be using tonight. when we talk about kind of the shootout and what performed well, kind of what we saw in the meta, what some of the top decks were, as we kind of prepare for Columbus, the first regional, LRG regional, coming up Saturday, June 27th. Yes, Saturday, June 27th, which is also my birthday, coincidentally. And then Sunday, the
Nice.
28th, will be the next NAOL. So check those out, put those on your calendar. Come to Columbus, hang out with me. Feel free to concede to me on my birthday. Maybe if you want to be nice,
Seems
get me
fair.
something, get me a win. Yeah, seems totally
It's
reasonable.
your birthday present.
And yeah, you can fight for cash prizes that LRG is putting up. And Sunday, you can battle for foil copies of the 8 combat any hero or power card from the Few and the Cursed with a gorgeous art. It looks like Death. I don't know the character's name, but it looks like who I would imagine Death is in that universe. And if that foiling turns out to be anywhere near as gorgeous as the 7 combat from the shootout, you definitely want to win it if you can.
It'd be so sick. So pretty.
Yeah, and just as a reminder, anyone that participates will also get a non-foil copy, same as the previous NAOL events. If you can make to Columbus for this, definitely do it. The foils are already worth money. I don't know if Doug put out an offer to buy one of the 7 combat promos from the top 8, the foil ones. Last I saw, he was offering 300 cash and an invincible box, and it didn't look like he had any takers.
I heard he made a deal on OP Adventures today, so I think he angled one. But yeah, crazy offer, and that's so cool that they're doing that. Even the non-foil ones, like, it's just so awesome. And I've heard also that
they look sweet.
NAOL is going to completely destroy.
I took a
destroy
picture
all
of
excess copies of. I think we have a lag going on.
Yeah, it was lagging there. I'll see if I can clean that. Yeah, so they're going to destroy the copies. I saw Chris hand Doug back the envelope of the non-foils that were left over. So I can confirm Chris, 1, did his job, and 2, they are planning on destroying those copies. So they are limited. They are rare. But yeah, to just jump into the shootout, it was great. I mean, the event was fantastic. Thank you to everyone that came, and thank you to everyone that traveled. Diego from Brazil came. That was sweet to get the Brazilian representation. Joe, Keith Bursack, and Dave, came from the Northeast. We had the Sims clan from Columbus come. I mean, we just had a whole smattering of people. It was fantastic. Chris really worked hard to just make everyone feel welcome, make sure everyone walked away with something, and just had a smile on their face the whole time. And that's the kind of atmosphere Chris brings, and the kind of guy he is. And the event really showed. It was fantastic. Everything ran smoothly, I think. No one complained to me. I was in between my rounds running the stream, setting everything up with Top Deck, and kind of running that, and everything worked fine. Stream seemed good. We kept good time, like, on the pace. I mean, Chris and I were vigilant in getting people to record their matches, finish their matches, timely, keeping track of time. Chris did a great job of keeping track of the round time in particular. So we really moved the event. I mean, we were done and out of there. I was packed up by like 10:15. 10 o'clock we were done.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we were hustling. We were not having lollygagging.
Sounds like Top Deck is awesome.
Yeah, it's done a great job. I've used it for Magic for years, so I was pretty familiar with it, and it works. Zane, lead programmer on it, stopped by because he lives in Houston. So, I talked to him for a bit, and it was good. I think using it going forward is a good strategy for Overpower. And it seems like kind of LRG and NAOL are kind of all in agreement in that. I hope to see it more. It pushed pairings for rounds. It's very easy on the admin side. It does what it needs to. It's great. It does it well. So certainly recommend it. And you could even use it kind of at the local level if you're running, whether there are events in Seattle for League, or you just want to run an event at your shop in Michigan, Pennsylvania, wherever you may be. Reach out to me. I can help with some of your questions, or I can put you in touch with Zane from Top Deck as well, and he can kind of give you a drive-by introduction of it. But it's when you look at it, it's pretty intuitive. So I think you'll be happy with it if you give it a shot. Next, so I know one of the things we talked about in the last cast was what deck are you going to play? So Sawyer and I played the same deck. That deck
really?
was, yeah. I posted my list in my full list in the Discord like 3 weeks before, something like that. And he was like, "Do you mind if I play this?" Like, "Nah, dude, go for it." I posted it in there, so if someone wants it, they can play it. I don't have any problem with that. The deck was Joan of Arc, Wonder Woman, and then Silver Sable in reserve. 221B Baker Street, the Crossing, and then the Outback is the battle site. The deck, it's interesting. So I'll start with kind of how I finished. So I started out 2-0. In the second round, in a match, I mean, he was using Odin's armor. He was using Dracula's armory. Or no, Odin's vault. He was using Odin's vault because he had the artifacts. And I was able to get off and absorb sound on him. And I just kind of blew away all of his artifacts and a fair amount of his place cards, and basically won off of the back of that card alone. Round 3, I faced Diego. He was on the Cadillac, and so I kind of took a strategy where I just kind of like hit and run, didn't mind conceding. Like, I'm going to do more damage to him, and then kind of duck out and preserve my characters, because I mean, I have always viewed the Cadillac as kind of anemic offensively. Like, it's very good at having kind of a defensive answer for most things, but eventually you can kind of punch through, get some hits in, and then I just kind of ducked out of the battle. Yeah, it's got a lot of dupe potential. So we go to the final hand. I'm betting for the win. I get some hits. I basically have it wrapped up. He has one card left. What do you think that last card was?
The stupid Grim Reaper or Power Leech.
It was Hades. Yeah, he Hades to reset the venture, and he won the match that way. I'm just like, how did we get here?
Yep.
That's
what happened.
Disappointing loss. I mean, he played well. I'm not, trying to take anything away from Diego. He had a plan. He saved that Hades until he knew it would go through, and it got him the win. But just playing to that kind of end state where it's like, okay, I can get him here. Like, it kind of took a controlling route. Didn't mind conceding missions. I was doing more damage to him than he was to me. And to have it end that way, it was like the plan worked, and it worked well. And then, not having a negate was hard. And that's kind of the biggest takeaway from playing that deck. Is playing without a negate, it just feels like you're sometimes fighting an uphill battle. I mean, like, I would describe it as, like slap boxing. Have you ever seen that? Where they just like...
And participated. Oh, yeah.
Stand there and you give someone your best shot. That's what it feels like without having a negate. Like, you just take their best shot and hope your big card is better than their big card. And that's how it felt to me. I mean, there were like, when I played EFL, when it resolved, like, I just ran people over. Like, it just wasn't particularly close. I mean, having that +2 on all actions, you just went over the top of basically any defense they had. And then you got to trade up on, defensively when you needed it.
With that deck, that card is so clutch.
Yeah. Without that, so the matches where I didn't find it, I definitely fell behind. Like, if I could apply offensive pressure, I think I was in a good spot. But, if I just had like a hand of defense and I didn't have EFL, sometimes it's just in the bottom half of your deck, or, the bottom, the last 2 hands, it's kind of, dead in the water kind of thing. And that's the way I felt. It kind of made me start thinking about redundancy of effects. And it's like, how many copies of this card do I need to be able to do this thing? And, if I don't have it, how do I find it? Which is something that, is interesting to think about. Because, like, looking at Modern, so like the Sun Wukong Wicked Witch deck, right? Like, you have two shifts, right? And possibly another half of one in the event. Like, that really kind of gives you a redundancy where only having one EFL and also not playing a negate. I had to kind of really dance around sometimes setting it up. And then, okay, we're back. We had a little break there for some technical issues. When we left off, I was talking about kind of redundant effects. Now, I think that's one of the challenges that this deck has, not being able to reliably find EFL is something you could do. I mean, I saw you could play a battle site, maybe like Muir Island, and use Banshee's Luck of the Irish. I think you could find it, and some type of effect like that, because the deck is completely different when it does and doesn't have EFL. I was pretty happy with the deck. It looked like Sawyer did solid with it as well. He took second in the last chance against Doug. It's not a bad deck. Would I play it again? I don't think I'd run it back, but it was okay. Like I said, playing without a negate is tough.
It's like one hand tied behind your back.
For sure.
Does Zealot's card, the one that's like this card has to be negated before something else is that one per deck?
Yeah, that is. So that's Kirihib, and when I played it, it usually just instantly ate a negate.
Okay.
I mean, there were times where I had to kind of set up a situation to play EFL. Like, for example, against Diego, he was sitting with a negate placed to Scarlet Witch, and he also had Merlin on the home base. So I had to kind of set up a situation where I had to get him to use one of the two. And then I played EFL defensively. And when he went to use the negate offensively, I had the answer for it. So just like having to like play around that in those situations, like, and set it up is tough. I mean, yeah, you always kind of have the backup of Wonder Woman being able to go get it out of the dead pile, but it just makes it so hard to do.
Gotta dance around it.
See, in a way that you just don't have in Modern. So it's more reliable to play your shifts. And yeah, it's an interesting deck. It was fun being a heavy teamwork deck. I was able to string together a bunch of attacks. The 220, sometimes I felt like I was like half a turn behind, because like when those cards essentially kind of took the slot of the negates, like in the deck, right? So having to use them offensively
Slows
and
it down.
spend yeah, exactly. So that's kind of like feeling behind.
How many times did you pull off the Wonder Woman, the full open your hand?
Once or twice, but it usually 8. Like if they had a negate and I played a spy card, it ate it immediately.
Right.
Oh, like even the copies of the Joan Angelic Visions, they typically were more than happy to spend their negate on. So yeah, like it felt slower. Like I definitely felt like I was kind of in the control role. But depending on the texture of the hand, like if I had a bunch of, teamworks and power cards and didn't have defense or spy specials, then like I'm just the aggressor trying to beat down. I'm not gonna say it felt disjointed, but it felt inconsistent.
Yeah.
If I found, depending on the cards I found, like some people I would just run them over. And when EFL was out, like it just, it played like a completely different deck, but you couldn't always count on that. I mean, I finished 3-4 and that easily could have been 5-2. Like, the loss to Diego, and then there was one loss, I think, playing against Daniel that I punted. Like, what was the mistake? I think I had a power card place that I needed as a teamwork. I think Wonder Woman died, and I was relying on using the 8 combat teamwork through her, and I had to play it on Zealot, but Zealot had the power card place that I needed. Like I could have. There was kind of no reason not to put it on Joe. So like I could have done that. It just little things. Overall, like I don't think I made that many mistakes. The mistakes I made were probably mistakes people wouldn't notice. I mean, there was nothing real blatant, but yeah, it just kind of felt behind. I mean, I don't see myself playing a legacy without a negate character anytime soon, but I'm glad I tried it. People are having success with non-negate decks. In particularly the winner and the finalist of the shootout. Justin and Ricky, neither of them played. No, I take that back. Ricky had Scarlet Witch, but Justin was not playing a negate character.
Yeah, and Dave didn't have one in the last tourney either with first place, so that's crazy. It can be done.
And same here. I mean, Dave was in top 8 and he didn't have a negate character as well. And just kind of for anyone that wasn't there, he played 4 Freedoms Plaza. So he had his team was the Fantastic Four, which is pretty cool. And he had I believe Invisible Woman in reserve. So
was it? Or I thought he had
attacks.
Torch in the back.
Or maybe he did have Torch. I think you're right.
Invisible Woman just has too many good cards to stick her in reserve, I think.
Yeah, yeah, I think you're right. Now that I think about it, you're right. I didn't end up playing Dave, so yeah, not looking at it now, you're right.
I know he
But
had the 11, and his Torch's grid just doesn't line up with the rest of them because they're like intellect and strength and I guess a little bit combat.
yeah, and he's just kind of the odd 7 energy, and Invisible
Yeah.
Woman slots somewhere between him and Mr.
Hmm.
Fantastic. Yeah. And for anyone that didn't see it, Justin's winning deck, his team Juggernaut, Green Goblin, Colossus, Age of Apocalypse, Silver Sable in reserve, Age of Apocalypse, home base or battle site, Barsoom for the home base, and Fatal Attractions for the mission set.
Anti-energy.
So when I sat down, when I saw him sitting down and playing this deck, I was like, what's going on that I'm missing? Because I'm like, he's got a max 6 on the front line and Green Goblin, and like, what is happening here? And I started looking at this, and I was like, wait a minute, this is actually super smart. Like, this isn't so. It's easy to look at this and be like, oh, this is a strength team. Like, what is it doing? But that's not what this deck actually is. What this deck is a card advantage deck. So Colossus, he has discard 3 from hand and an LO special, which is,
Mhm.
defensive and draw. Green Goblin is the exact same thing. Discard 3 placed cards and draw. And then he has a stat boost that, you could use with Barsoom. So, both of them have card advantage. And then Juggernaut has battering ram and raise, more card advantage. So that's like actually what's happening with the deck. And then you have Age of Apocalypse to, copy the best thing you can find with Morph, and use Changeling on one of your characters to make them innate strength and trigger Barsoom.
Mhm.
So I also want to give credit to Howard Bertrand. Apparently he was also involved in helping Justin with this deck, but it was cool to see it built around those card advantage aspects, and card
Yeah.
advantage is king in
How did
Overpower,
the
especially in
avoidant draws
Legacy.
work? Yeah, it really is. How do the avoidant draws work? Is it the same
So
as Mummy or
So Colossus is teammate avoid a special card attack, draw a card, and Green Goblins is
eh,
Goblin or teammate avoid an attack of 4 or less, draw a card.
got
So
it?
like Justin would just place the LO on Green Goblin and just let it sit there. Like you're gonna play into it eventually, and you just kind of have to play through it and give me my card. So yeah, it was cool. And then, just between both Colossus and Green Goblins, like discards were really sweet to see there. Like, and again, that's, redundancy of effect. Each one of them has an LO special. Each one of them has a 3-for-1 that they can trade. And then, Juggernaut with Raise and Battering Ram can provide some card advantage. And this was just like no negate character, but like, well, if you don't have any card, if I have more cards than you, does it really matter if I can't negate your stuff?
Right.
I mean, that's kind of I think what happened here. And you see with Ricky's deck, I mean, his kind of combines the card advantage aspects of New Warriors and Zeos with the negate of Scarlet Witch. Again, getting that card advantage engine, and Ricky, also playing the crossing. So
Yeah,
his
the
his
KO
team was New
advantage.
Warriors, the Hand, Scarlet Witch, Zeos, Onslaught, Citadel, Odin's Vault, and the crossing. So he's got the KO event in there.
Mm.
So, when I played against Ricky, he milled over his KO event with Image Inducer. So he didn't get to
Mm.
hit me with it. So he couldn't trigger it in the way he wanted.
Thank God.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Between that and absorb sound, like hitting his artifacts, like it just like leveled the playing field and kind of took away his like draw engine for the most part. I mean, he did eventually end up killing New Warriors with Onslaught's special out of the battle site,
Uh,
but yeah, by that time it was just kind of like too little, too late. So, you know, and he got second, so I think I got him in an unfortunate position, and then he did really well against everyone else, and just drawing cards,
yeah.
just
Card
drawing
advantage is
cards.
king, like you said.
Yeah, yeah. And the third place deck, Nor playing the Big Eight Cadillac. I don't like the Escalade here.
The Escalade.
No negate character, but he had Spawn, Inhumans, X-Man, and 3-stat Doctor Strange, 1 Nagore Mountain. card advantage, and
Yeah.
then team overpower. So, cool deck. Everyone's got defense, everyone's got eights. Yeah, each one of I mean, this is like a balanced deck.
Yeah.
Everyone has their defensive special, everyone has good offensive specials. Then, you generate some card advantage out of Wundagore Mountain, because the only one per deck you want out of Wundagore Mountain is
Colossus.
Colossus's.
Yeah.
Yeah, discard 3. But Pierre
Moore's gonna win
posted
one
some.
of these days.
What? Yeah, he's knocking on the door.
Yep.
He's the new Justin, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right. Took his place.
He'll, Justin gets over the hump, and Nor, you're on deck, buddy. Let's,
Mm-hmm.
I have no doubt he will get there. Yeah,
There's
yeah,
so
but
many. Sorry,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. I was just gonna
No,
say
you're
there's
good.
so many cool characters that I have not seen. Like there were a ton of ERB characters, and there was a She-Hulk. There was a I love Inhumans. They're awesome, but they're just kind of like beastly. Human Torch, Kazar, Hawkeye, Green Goblin. There's like so many characters you don't normally see, which was way cool.
Yeah, Pierre posted some good stats here. The top 8 was pretty chalk outside of Justin, Ricky, and Dave.
Hmm.
Everyone else was playing Spawn. 5 of the top 8 decks were Spawn. And let's see, Diego, and then Daniel, and I think someone else had Cadillacs. Nor had the big energy team. And then there was another Spawn deck as well.
I'm happy to not see or to see Spawn not win at all. I'm sick of
Yeah.
that guy. I wasn't even there, and I'm sick of that guy.
Seeing Juggernaut and the strength team, and then the new Warriors deck get it over a Spawn deck is a welcome thing. It just kind of shows you that, you know, Spawn is still king of legacy. Be
Yeah.
prepared for energy. I played against the Cadillac 3 times out of
Oof.
7 rounds. I had a plan for it. Mostly went well, depending on how I drew, but pack your absorb sounds, play the crossing. Unfortunately, that's just Spawn does it all. Like his stats are great, his specials are great. He plays defense. He has good offensive specials. You
Busted
know,
stats.
yeah, it's
Surprised they didn't give him a negate too.
yeah. Todd McFarlane drew the line at negates, I guess. But yeah, come prepared if you playing Legacy in Columbus. Be ready for Spawn. So
32% of decks.
Pierre did some good stat breakdowns though. Out of the 2 events, Spawn has been in the top 8 7 times between the first 2 NAOL events. So out of 16 spots, he's taken almost half of them.
Mm-hmm.
Karlovich coming behind him with 6. Mr. Fantastic on the rise. 5. Silver Sable 5. The Starjammers with 4 appearances. And then Heroes for Hire, only 3. The Heroes for Hire Beast the Brute team up, only 3 copies. So Wonder Woman getting no top 8 appearances. But Pierre did highlight that Wonder Woman has played in 3 decks. Sawyer and I, and then I guess someone played it in Pennsylvania. Goose also with 3 appearances. So you're right. We're seeing ERB characters for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I did take coverage. I think our plan is to go back and do some commentary over it for people that couldn't watch live. Like if you watched it live, there was just no sound. It was just kind of because it would just be picking up noise from the shop, and just kind of you'd probably be watching it on mute anyway. So I think our plan is to go back and do coverage. There's some great matches. I kind of made sure to spread it out. Like we got Joe CEO on camera one round. He was playing a bunch of ERB characters. So
Intellect deck.
yeah, we tried to spread it out and give you some cool stuff to watch and some stuff that you should also expect to see. If you're coming to Columbus and serious about spiking it. So, Andrew, what do you think about the New World Order of Spawn? What are you playing in Columbus?
I mean, if I honestly don't even know. I haven't given it too much thought. I think that the low hanging fruit is the event that Justin played, where you just do no energy icons, and then you run that with Outback and Absorb Sound. Like, just it counters so much because energy is just so dominant in Legacy. I mean, Spawn's a huge part of that, but you also got Strange, and there's so many baller energy characters. X-Man that are just ridiculous and have Inhumans. crazy specials. I don't really know. I did toy with an Asclepion deck that had Inhumans and Sentinels, and so you could do like you could do the healing or blocking with like specials or power card hits or whatever. I mean, yeah, I haven't given it too much thought. I think honestly, like Galactus and Double Negator would probably do pretty well against most of this. Like, because when you have, 7.5 negates in your deck, you can kind of deal with all of the stuff from Justin's deck, the discard threes, and maybe even pick off a stat boost and start launching some teamworks, try and KO Juggernaut right away so that he's down and copy someone else's off
Right.
of your
Yeah.
team or anyone on the table. I'm not exactly sure, but that might be a
It's
weakness of that deck if you can KO Juggernaut right away and then they can't copy him. I mean, he has plenty of defense, but I don't know. There's so many fun
and
things you can do.
like I think one of the things people think about look at the Cadillac and think like I have to play this or I can't win, and maybe that's kind of part of the reason you see Spawn. When you look at Ricky and Justin's decks, they were both card advantaging out decks because like the Cadillac is kind of basically this mid-range control style of deck. It plays a bunch of defense and then it kind of sneaks in, a hit here or there. I mean, because the traditional Cadillac outside of Starjammers doesn't produce a lot of venture.
Mm,
You're just kind of relying on teamworks and a couple offsuit specials for spectrum pressure out of, Scarlet Witch and Spawn, but it's not generating big hits other than, some eights and you got the 11. But I think, looking for ways to generate card advantage. And I don't think, you necessarily need pure card advantage cards like Colossus's discard 3, like Starjammers draw 3, like Green Goblin's discard 3 place cards. I think you can generate it in other ways. And kind of the Sims clan on their Overpower Adventures, they did like a wrap up Houston like podcast, like what they thought about their decks. And Jessica was talking about hers and she played White Queen, Beyonder, X Babies, and 3-Sat Magneto in the back. And one of the interesting things she said was she didn't play the KO event. And she, in hindsight, regretted it. Thinking about that, I mean, that's kind of the main way to generate card advantage,
mm,
like pseudo card advantage in that deck, right? Because they have to KO one of their characters and they're stuck with so many dead cards in their deck, and that doesn't affect you. So, thereby it has generated potential for you to get card advantage, up on your opponent because they have these unusables. So like looking for ways to do that. And you see like Ricky did it, with his deck, being able to KO New Warriors who has no specials. And then he draws, 3 cards, from that. And he's, when he gets that KO event, he can just bet big because you're going to lose something if anything is placed to that character, and it can just be such a huge card advantage swing. So like looking for ways to generate card advantage, I think is a way to attack that deck and to really, like just a good strategy in general. You asked about Morph, his changeling card. It's any active hero, but
uh,
if there's no, heroes for hire across the table from you, like, you're not going to take Spawn's 8 energy in your strength deck where you don't have, 8 power cards. So like, you're like kill Juggernaut as fast as you can is, kind of right on there. But I know
mhm,
that's hard because that makes you play into Green Goblin and
Colossus.
Colossus's low defensive specials. So that, like
Yeah,
putting your
easier said than done.
opponent in those awkward positions is, like it's what wins you. It's what wins you matches.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's my bread and butter with modern. I love the fast spectrum decks because it's just there's no better card advantage than having, 4 guys to your opponent's 2 or 3 to their 1, draw so many dead cards.
Yeah, and characters just don't die nearly as quickly in Legacy as they do Modern. I mean, I think thinking about my rounds, I went to time almost every round, and I think maybe I've lost a character around. There were no games decided by, my team getting KO'd.
Yeah.
Like every, battle site is basically a wall of defense. There's usually someone with defensive specials on the front line, whether that's, a negate or someone like with team defense, Spawn or whatever. And, sometimes in reserve. So, I would, if because I'm thinking about options for Columbus and I'm looking at ways to attack it, and looking for card advantage outlets is kind of the way I'm going to approach it. I think this time I'm going to put together my own deck, and that worked for me last year at the shootout when I kind of did my own thing. And I think I'm going to do that again
Mm-hmm.
for Columbus coming up.
Count of Monte Cristo plus Heroes for Hire. So you get the double white tiger.
I mean, that's a 2-for-1, right?
Yeah,
Almost 3-for-1. You generate
3
that
for
card
1.
advantage.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, like looking for those ways to do it, and even look at Justin and Ricky's home bases.
Mm-hmm.
Barsoom gets your card back. It basically, becomes a 7, or depending on morph, becomes an 8. So you get
And
that card back.
it thins out your deck, so you're having less duplicates in the future.
And having a card right now is always infinitely better than having it in your deck and waiting to draw it. And then Ricky's deck, Odin's Vault, that's, having those place cards there. So I think looking at things like Spartan Training Ground or Dracula's Armory,
We saw 0
just,
of those. That was so crazy
yeah,
to me. That was the first thing I looked for. I was like, how many Spartans? 0? How many Drax Armory? 0? What?
yeah, I think they're slept on. And the decks I'm working on for Columbus, I'm planning on playing one of the two. I mean, kind of what I'm working on for Columbus right now. Let's see. What was it? Juggernaut, Heroes for Hire, Beast the Brute, Deathbird in the back.
Nice.
And then that leaves me 3 points for a Dracula's
Drax
Armory.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's sick.
I'm just going to try and kill you. It's all beaters, and, Juggernaut generates card advantage. Here's for Hire is just an offensive Juggernaut. And then, Beast the Brute. And I would use Wundagore Mountain with it. It was the
Mhm.
one I was considering to get Colossus's specials. I mean, Wundagore Mountain is great because it has probably the 2 best battle site characters in Scarlet Witch and Colossus.
Yeah, that sounds similar to what Keffer and Marcel ran at Boston. I think they maybe had a different reserve, but I think they had that front line and Wundagore Mountain and Drax Armory. I'm pretty sure. Could be wrong, but
Yeah, I'll have to look that up. I'm interested now. I suppose that puts me in good company. We're on the right track, right?
oh yeah, for
That's,
sure. I mean, they smashed everybody, so
yeah, that's what I've been messing around with. I also considered well, do you do something like Spawn, Inhumans, Scarlet Witch, and then, you can fit someone else back there
mhm.
for reserve. I
But
don't
then you
know.
gotta play Spawn, and then you're gonna be judged by your
Real hardcore and do here's another team I thought about sleeving up: Spawn, Heroes for Hire, Scarlet Witch, and Deathbird.
sounds pretty strong.
Yeah, let's just take the big 3, throw them all together in a blender, and
Yeah, how bad could it be?
right, really, Deathbird can defend Scarlet Witch if need be. Not that anyone really goes after her.
I really liked Corey's deck. It's a little off topic. His flash in the back and the Hawkeye and the forced swapping. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my god, I want to make a deck that does that. That's so cool. That's like better than the KO event. You force them to swap their reserve character. Like your deck's totally built around it happening, and your opponent's is not. So that's another card advantage machine right there. They have to stick somebody with 5 to 7 specials in reserve, and they could be stuck there for God knows how long.
Yeah, and he
Especially if
had,
they have
with
like
having
Sable
Morgan Le
or
Fay and a Skelepion,
yeah, yeah.
to again generate that card advantage.
And we see so much Spider Woman and Silver Sable and like the Victory Harbin type defenders who are like a shield wall when they're back there, but then they're just a sitting duck when they're up front. And so if you end up matched against somebody who has those, which is fairly common, you just obliterate them, and then
Mhm.
it seems like a fun strategy.
Yeah, his deck was sweet. Seeing him do his thing, and also seeing him, I believe he top 8'd as well, right?
Did he? I think
Yes,
so. It wouldn't surprise
he
me.
did. He did. Nor and Corey top 8'd.
Okay.
Jess and Doug were on the outside this time.
I mean, they got to trade off. There's so many of them.
Yeah, that's right. Corey did, because I was trying to tell them to hold out for 500 for their foil 7
Yeah,
to
that's
Doug.
right.
I hope they got there. I hope he bumped up his offer for you guys. Have you decided, are you guys coming to Columbus? I feel like I asked you last time, and I don't know if it was no or we're not sure yet.
Columbus is a no. That's right in the middle of World Cup plus our local con
Mm.
for some D&D and superhero role playing games and stuff. It actually is hosted at my dad's house. It's like right on the cusp of being too many people because it's like 20, 25 people or something Friday and Saturday. But it's Thursday through Sunday, and there's World Cup that week, matches in Seattle, and Sunday is Pride, so I can't really get out of work. Unfortunately, would love to go, but yeah, I don't think that one's happening for us. Otherwise, I would definitely be putting a lot more thought into what deck I was bringing.
No, it makes total sense. Make that money. I mean, that's a lot of sweet events going on. So,
Mm,
sometime life happens. I mean, and really that just makes it easier for the rest of us, right? If we don't have to deal with Galactus and the champ.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And that just means everyone gets our best thoughts on what they should play,
Hmm.
kind of preparing for it. So, yeah, wrapping up on Houston, it was sweet. Thank you again to everyone that came out. Thank you to Chris for um, you know, helping put together a great event, and Howard for his support from Canada and kind of anything we needed. So, I hope to be back next year doing it, and yeah, looking forward to getting settled in Columbus and joining that crew and playing more OP and just grinding with them. It's good to see them. Like,
Mm.
I gave Nor and Corey the big hugs when I saw them. It's like, I can't wait to get back and play with you guys. And, it's just a great feeling. Like, just so many good vibes, just smiles all around. The playmats were sweet. I was lucky enough to score one of the playmats. It looked completely rigged when we drew it, because Chris just like put everyone's names on a ticket in a box and shook it, and then like he just like had someone pull them out. Because like the first person that won was Chris, and then the next person that won a playmat was me. So it's like, this looks a little sus here.
Little bit. That's awesome. Good
Yeah, and
karma for hosting.
they gave Diego one. They decided, like, yeah, you've come all the way from Brazil. If you want to play mat, you walk away with a play mat. So that, left 5 others. Anthony got one. I think Corey and Nor, like, I think they might have swapped. One of them got a play mat. One of them got a 5, and I think they swapped.
Uh-huh. Yep, that's what I heard.
I forget who got the other one, the other couple of play mats. So if you're trying to find one, those are the people to hit up. I'm probably not going to sell mine. Chris is definitely not going to sell his. And Diego's in Brazil, so I don't know if you'll be able to get that one. So
Yeah, you guys are starting to look like the New York Yankees over there in Ohio. Like no salary cap, like monster team. It's kind of unfair. We're gonna have to work on our training over here in Seattle to try and keep up with you. And Brazil's gonna have to step it up too.
I mean, you've got the champ, and Thomas certainly is a heavyweight anytime he shows up.
And Joe,
So
yeah.
yeah, like don't sell your guys self short. I think you're still wearing the crowns on that one. There's still some catching up here to do. One other cool thing I did want to mention before we get out of here, if you haven't seen the 8 combat promo for Columbus for the Few and the Curse, go check it out on the NAOL Facebook page. And if you don't follow them, it's sweet. I'm not going to post it here because, go check it out on the NAOL page. Follow them,
Hmm.
and you can get all the updates on events, but it's worth following. It's worth checking out. I remember, like, at one point Doug told me he specifically wanted, he's like, there's one art everyone's going to want. And he's like, we got it for Columbus. And then I saw that. I'm like, yeah, I definitely see why Doug wanted this one to be for his event. It's just like looking at it. It's just like
Hmm.
such a metal like art. Like, it goes hard.
Yeah, for real.
You might have to swipe one from your dad. Word on the street is he might have a set when this is all said and done.
Right.
Anything else you got, either on the meta coming up or the events, or looking forward before we get out of here?
I don't think so. I'm just yeah, I definitely feel like I'm missing out. There's so much cool legacy stuff, still so much unexplored, and like like adding ERB, like even just sprinkling in one character, which a lot of people have done, with some success. I think there's a lot of untapped stuff there. So the creative juices are flowing again. Yes, I sound like a broken record, but God, I can't wait for Skybound and the Feeling the Curse. That's gonna bust Modern wide open. That's gonna be so fun.
Yeah, I believe they have an event or some kind of webcast town hall event scheduled for May 25th. I
Okay.
don't know what they're going to share. I don't know if they're going to, spoil some more cards or what. Just keep that on your radar.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's some of these Skybound characters are 100% going to see legacy play.
Yeah, for sure. Did you also see in the Invincible podcast? No, they're dropping little pieces all over the place. So if you don't consume like all the overpower content, everybody misses stuff, and maybe they like it that way, little Easter eggs or whatever. In playtesting, Battle Beast had the same inherent as Omni-Man. He had May Not Be Spectrum KO'd, and now he has same stats, same threat. He's big boy like Zeus and Omni-Man. But his inherent now is Battle Beast is +1 to attack characters of threat level 22 or higher. Which is so thematic and so cool and so just like I was promised a worthy opponent, like that's so him. So I
Oh,
didn't know
that's
they made
total
that
flavor.
switch. It's awesome. I'm already more excited to make a build with him.
Too bad it's not 21.
Yeah.
You just see him beating up on Spawn.
Mm-hmm. Leonidas. That really should be. They need to errata Spawn. Make him 23 threat.
I mean, he deserves every point of it.
Yeah. He'd still get played. He's that good.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. I mean, he just does it all. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the only thing he doesn't do is negate. Yeah, that's all I got. I'm excited for Columbus. I'm excited to play more Legacy. I'm excited to play more Modern. I'm kind of exploring some ideas in Modern, kind of thinking of like, redundancy in cards. I think the deck I've been toying with is Witch, Morgan Le Fay, Joan, and then Raw in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I'm working on. I mean, the theory being here are all of these game breaking cards. You're probably not going to stop all of them.
Yep. Backup
You
8
know,
for Witch. Unlike what the Nats deck does not have. Yeah.
yeah. So that's, Morgan Le Fay keeps, me from discarding unusable cards to some degree. She can also heal. She's got a negate. So, giving it a shot.
Yeah. There's definitely something there. I finally made a modern deck. I was getting bored there for a while. Like, God, I have to use Witch or Wukong to have to have it be like truly competitive, or both of them together. And I tried a whole bunch of different stuff, and I ended up making this deck, which sounds like it's really weird, but it's actually awesome, and it plays out. It's definitely not like my normal style. It's super, super slow, but it's great. And so it's Leo and King Arthur and Witch. And then in the back you could put like Mr. Hyde or Jane or some 16 pointer. You have so many big cards. So it's like it's good against the double shift because, I'm just gonna land so many 7+s, like you can't shift them all everywhere. I'm still gonna win Venture. Oh, Watson, that's what I'm using in the back. Watson and Baker Street, because it's just at the start of every hand, I like to say I'm winning Venture because this is +3 to Venture every round. And so the overpower is often this game of chicken where you just like load up your place cards and then somebody concedes. And it's like when we battle, I am going to win Venture because like Witch has a 7 and an 8, and Leo has 3 8s and then a 6. Arthur has a 7 and a 9. And then, all your normal power cards, same as every deck. So it's just like slow and a ton of haymakers. And it's not going to win by KOing characters necessarily, but it's going to win off of Venture. And it's a lot of fun. And I actually tailored it a little bit like opposite Ricky's deck. I put more of the 8s in the deck. More of them are energy. Because Leo has his own 300 to protect himself. And Arthur's always the target anyways, because he's got the teammate of Void. He's kind of like the bridge there. And then to deal with stuff like EFL and Cthulhu the Call and all that crap, I have the event that wipes one away in exchange for +3 Venture. Now we're even on Venture, and I got rid of your cool card. And then the other also the shift event. I'm experimenting with 2 right now. But and then Arthur 7, that always is a nice little backup to get rid of something. You kind of have to hold it for the right moment. It doesn't always work, but just big haymakers. It's a lot of fun. It's not totally like usually my style, but it's kind of inspired by Corey's. Corey was messing with a deck right before a couple tournaments ago where he had So Wukong, Sheriff, and Three Musketeers. And it's just like so much venture, and you just pile on. And so kind of similar-ish concept, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun so far.
Nice. That sounds sweet. Yeah, that sounds like a cool deck. I like that. It's funny. We're talking about KL specials, like at the shootout, and how they're like basically worthless in
Legacy.
Legacy, and yeah, you want them in Modern.
Hmm.
Like right now, like it's interesting to see those dynamics and differences between the format. And I think that's really kind of what makes it cool and refreshing. Like having King Arthur 7 in his deck, like having the event and not having to worry about the venture, like, like those are good. I think those are smart changes, smart like inclusions for the meta and, kind of where it's at right now.
Yeah, I do like KLs. They're great. They're great to counter all this shifting nonsense, but I don't want to ever see too much of it because then you never see cards like Leonidas's Shield Phalanx and, Greatest Soldiers in History and some of the like buff cards that are clipped to somebody that aren't like that crazy. Like if you're already including one of these cards in your deck that's not that crazy and then it just happens to get waved away by, I don't want to see KLs everywhere, but they definitely have a place in the modern scene for sure.
Yeah. Well, that'll wrap it up for us. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining. My next episode, I'll probably be in Columbus by now, so I think that will be a couple weeks away. I'll probably, probably record in June, kind of as we get ready for the Columbus event and get a little more about the Few and the Curse. And we'll probably have some of the character spotlights from Skybound come out, and hopefully Andrew and I get to get some recording time in there for the shootout rounds.
Yeah.
So
Commentating is
looking
going to be
forward
fun.
to watching those. I haven't watched the footage back, so it'll be kind of new for me to
Hell yeah.
watch as well. So I think that will be fun. I'm looking forward to us doing that. That will be up on our YouTube. We'll post in the Discord when that stuff becomes available. So stay tuned.
For sure. Yep. Thanks for listening, everybody. And don't forget to check out all those other Overpowered Ventures on Monday nights with Doug and the crew, Marcel's show this Wednesday and the following Wednesday, Overpowered Mountain podcast, The GOAT, and Pierre's always posting shorts and collecting awesome amounts of data. And then Sunday, tune into Discord to watch Dave whoop my ass. It's going to be great.
Awesome stuff. Glad to see there's so much cool content around right now. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone.
Peace out.